You wake up in the dark den and boom! The first thing that hits you is not the scorching sun of the Kalahari, but the piercing and unmistakable odor of dominance. This smell, carried by alpha's pheromones, is not just a territorial marker. It is a chemical bomb of submission that reaches each olfactory receptor, reminding each breath of its insignificance. Welcome to the wonderfully despotic world of being a subordinate meerkat, where your sole purpose is to work, to watch, and crucially, never to reproduce. Biological freedom is a luxury denied to all but one couple, the alpha meerkat, which, for the most part, is a ruthless alpha female of superior build, is in charge. Its presence is a gravitational force that deforms the lives of everyone else. She is the only one who is allowed to have puppies. It holds the genetic monopoly. And you are a reproductively repressed slave. You're thinking, what a great family, a commune of love and cooperation? Wrong. This is a dictatorial system of cooperative reproduction, and this cooperation is enforced by biological and physical terror. You see, the colony does not need more than one breeding pair. The overload of larvae and mouths to feed would be the group's ruin in an already scarce environment. More than that, reproductive competition would disintegrate the cohesion necessary for survival, and the alpha meerkat hates competition more than it hates a wandering snake in the tunnel. Internal competition is colony cancer. So while you're scouring the desert for scorpions, Alpha is actively making sure you don't get distracted by the chemistry of love. She is constantly releasing pheromones that basically advertise her sterility and promote hers. It's a subtle but powerful form of chemical control that acts on your hypothalamus, keeping order in the den and keeping you dedicated to babysitting and sentry work. This is your invisible shackle. You are physiologically forced to nurture the bloodline that denies you your own future. Life under the alpha is a cruel routine of biological renunciation in favor of genetic tyranny. Upon awakening, driven by the urgency of the alpha's morning smell and the need to warm the cold body of the desert night, you are immediately pushed to the surface. The sun is rising, painting the sand orange and pink, but there is no time to warm up and soak up the beauty. It's time to hunt. Its razor-sharp claws tear through the sand and crust of the earth as you desperately search for grubs, spiders, and, if you're lucky, a careless scorpion, whose prey you must neutralize with a quick blow. You need food to survive and, more importantly, to feed the alpha puppies. Her puppies. Their stomachs are top priority. Work is incessant and rigidly divided. The colony needs to be fed and protected every second of light. As a subordinate, you rotate through the sentry post, the most vital and dangerous task. You stand on your hind legs, stretching your slender body to the maximum, using your tail as a perfect tripod to keep balance, and scan the sky and horizon in 360 degrees eyes, trained to catch the shadow of a martial eagle from miles away, or the subtle movement of a jackal. Your job at the post is not to hunt. It's to be the alarm. Your life depends on the accuracy of your alert. You are the early warning system that can save the entire colony from an eagle, a falcon, a rival mongoose, or a jackal. You are the first line of defense, the potential sacrifice. When you spot danger, movement in the sky that becomes a silhouette, a rustle in the dry grass, your cry of alarm echoes across the plain, urgent and piercing, and everyone, including Alpha and her cubs, dives into the safety of the tunnels. When danger passes, silence is deafening. Who leaves first? You. You are the first to emerge, risking yourself to ensure the way is clear for the safe return of the Alpha and her cubs. Loyalty is paid for with survival, and survival is paid for with servitude, a cycle that traps you as a functional martyr. But there is a deeper terror from within, more personal than any aerial predator. If you are a female and, through a hormonal lapse, a day of fasting, heightened stress, or a loophole in alpha surveillance, you become pregnant. Your fate is sealed. The alpha does not tolerate reproductive rivals within her burrow and enforces strict hierarchy that can include harsh discipline or exile. Subordinate males, though spared this internal struggle, do not fare much better. They spend their lives trying to catch the alpha's reproductive crumbs, flirting with the possibility of stealth mating, but for the most part, they are laborers, hunters, and babysitters, and their service includes war. They engage in exhausting border patrols, marching in tense formations to the edge of the territory, where they encounter meerkats from rival gangs. These skirmishes are fierce and vital to territorial survival. They involve chasing, war cries, and inevitably physical combat with bites and claws, often ending in serious injury or death. You defend the territory that produces offspring that are not yours and risk your life for the gang that denies your right to have a family. Their only true hope, the dim light at the end of the sand tunnel, is exile. If you're a young, strong male, hormonal repression and instinctive desire to reproduce can become unbearable. You may be kicked out by the alpha, who sees your growing strength as a threat, or decide to voluntarily flee into the wilderness. You'll spend weeks or months as a lone fugitive, a specter in the landscape, hunting at risk of your life, sleeping in shallow holes. Loneliness is a heavy burden. You live on the border between survival and extinction. Your journey has one goal: to find a meerkat of the opposite sex, from a different lineage, also expelled or fugitive, to form a new clan. Or, and this is the highest probability, being killed by a predator or a rival gang before having a chance to find genetic freedom. If you are one of the lucky ones who survives exile and forms a new reproductive pair, congratulations. You are now an alpha couple. And the cycle begins again. Yesterday's oppression becomes today's despotism. But even as an alpha, you can never forget the wilderness that taught you the price of survival. If you're the alpha meerkat himself, your life isn't a bed of roses either. Dominance exacts a colossal physical and psychological cost. You have the best diet, the safest sleep, and all the puppies are yours. But you're constantly under stress. You have to watch and fight against all external, predators, rivals, and internal, rebellion, stealth, dangers. You have to suppress the reproduction of your subjects, which drains their energy and requires constant and aggressive vigilance. As the years go by, their strength and, more importantly, their ability to produce the dominant pheromones needed to keep everyone sterile and submissive, diminish. You may notice subordinates challenging you. Their gaze is less submissive. They maintain eye contact for a second longer than allowed. They are no longer so willing to take on the risky tasks of sentry or patrol. Disobedience is in the air, a smell that mingles with his weakened pheromones. The most immediate danger, though, comes from your own children, the ones you forced the rest of the gang to raise. They grow and become strong, driven by the same reproductive urgency that you have repressed in others. And one day, your son or daughter may decide it's time to take power. They become your most dangerous rivals, the product of your genetic success turning against you. The confrontation is not a debate, but a violent fight, often short and brutal, where brute force nullifies hormonal dominance. If you are defeated, bitten, scratched, and broken, you are summarily expelled. There is no mercy, there is no pension. You, the once tyrant of the woodwork, are now alone in the wilderness. The same wilderness that you taught your subjects to fear and that you used to threaten dissenters. You wander about, weak, malnourished, with a rough coat and a sore body. His smell is now that of an outcast. Loneliness is their ultimate punishment, the price of a lifetime of genetic selfishness. You wait, hidden under the shade of a bush, until disease, starvation, or a final predator arrives to end your reign. The clan? They will barely notice your absence. A new alpha is already in charge, spreading the strong, fresh odor of its newfound dominance. His life was spent dominating, murdering, hunting, and surveilling. And its reward? Be replaced by your own descendant at the first sign of weakness to maintain the lineage of the group. The next time you see a cute meerkat in a documentary, remember the brutal despotism that lurks beneath that sentinel pose. The routine of the colony is a theater of forced cooperation. You, as a subordinate, don't just hunt and watch. You also participate in the cleaning and maintenance of the tunnels. The underground network, which can have dozens of entrances and multiple levels of security, nurseries, dormitories, latrines, requires an incessant effort of excavation and repair. Its coat is always covered with sand, its paws hurt, but the work cannot stop. The burrow is the fortress, and its maintenance is the key to everyone's survival. In the nursery, the work is even more intimate and biologically frustrating. You act as a babysitter, protecting the puppies from intruders, keeping them warm in cold times, and, crucially, feeding them. You prepare the food, a scorpion or a spider, and deliver it directly into the hungry mouths of the miniature little tyrants, while your own body cries out for nourishment. The most humiliating and painful thing for subordinate females is the phenomenon of suppressed lactation. If alpha allows you to be around puppies, the instinctive desire to care for and nurture can, ironically, lead to an increase in prolactin levels. You can, in fact, produce milk to feed your oppressor's young. His body, the last frontier of his identity, is diverted and exploited to serve the dominance of the alpha. It's the ultimate humiliation of servitude, your own biology betraying you. At the end of the day, everyone huddles in the bedchamber. The alpha meerkat occupies the center of the nest, the warmest and safest place. You and the other subordinates huddle around, forming a barrier of heat and bodies. You literally use your body as a shield to protect the alpha and his heirs. Every beat of his heart serves, until the last second, the tyranny of the alpha meerkat. His life was spent serving someone else's gene. Your reward is the chance to wake up the next day and serve you again, until you're too old to work and are quietly sidelined, waiting for the end in the cold of the periphery of the burrow. The cute meerkat is a myth. Reality is a biological and social war machine.